at least Arsenal etnefi no match team your friend Newcastle United. Yeah, who say stories about season in Iberia, Eddie Howe will leave. Instead, on make it Sam say, Andy, why are they doing that? I'm a church in Madi Kuntia, Newcastle for person season in Iberia or Muja Eddie Howe, because now coming who so left it team to certain level, competing in the Champions League and almost level na Basro, but the other side says otherwise. Omu room ewo Arsenal whom normally Arsenal kwakobo. So she team for Newcastle United. You know, since losing to FC Barcelona, omu team win a game. Omu last 3 games omu bunyina enko yi mfa momo against Palace, against Bournemouth, against Sunderland. Any man ko yi mfa ma Newcastle United. Inti omu form no adepo and adie ba akwa affect you omu so well this season no. The absence of Fabian Schär, the injury situation of Joelinton and Bruno G in midfield. Inti amejumana akoye Warlock, Lewis Melly, and then Sandro Tonali. And that made the job very difficult for Newcastle United. Again, Oman Timia replace Alexander Isak because Joan Wissa, Walter Madi, these 2 guys omudomo by and alongside Anthony Langano. Performance are no more special in the Premier League, you know. Omuntu miss fast performance in MIT. Am I the how watching this season? Arsenal on the other hand, in the last 2 seasons, no more against Newcastle United and no more break. But after breaking the deadlock at the St. James's Park, they say Omuni team I friend Newcastle United they buy and yet debut for Arsenal. Yenim how Arsenal they drew this side of the league almost break to cope with the pressure, especially Manchester City ababe taking league don elho and General Drew say the mentality no and a year more than the skill set of the player. Inti Arsenal Genoa, so more against Newcastle United, you expect them to play under pressure because team IFN Manchester City ababe 2 or more Genoa imwaye den ediamomo. But so share omu team now. Attack now no start this season no more clicky so well. I don't think the defense will issues be though omulusu to team my friend Manchester City. But so share Harvey Barnes, share Anthony Gordon, share Anthony Langa, share Joan Wissa, now share Walter Madia. When you attack, I always expect to say a big police so bad threat to team my friend Arsenal backline and Medica at the midfield of Newcastle United. Bruno G is back. He's likely to start this particular game alongside Sandro Tonali and then Lewis Melly in midfield. So how much they were. Lewis Hall at a point now both so well America say in the English national team he needs to be considered for the left back position because he's been solid at this particular season. But also on and off, Livramento is okay on the right and Maka almost central defensive pair no Malik Thiaw and then Abranti Ayefen Botman in team Newcastle United. You be expect so Bobiti Mediaman. When a game a very dicey, very difficult for Arsenal. But said you Nancy dear say Newcastle United is here Arsenal na Arsenal were upper hand and Arsenal playing at home. And Arsenal soon him said just a slip. You almost racing him into Omobeko all out. And they will love to score the goals against Newcastle United. So Arsenal are careful. Now, say you almost consider first goal at Newcastle United. It will be difficult for Arsenal to come back. It will give everything about them. But Arsenal playing at home against Newcastle and the recent form of Newcastle United, you know, may call for Arsenal a slim win. It will give everything about them. Now, Liverpool against Crystal Palace. Now here Liverpool are. Almost last 2 games, almost winning against Fulham and almost the team your friend Everton best also Hale Dickinson Stadium in the Merseyside derby. Almost at the shame. Palace on the other hand at a point in more Eddie Ama Oliver Glasner, but gradually on also Piqué kakra almost the Barbie. So what's your Palace backline now? You know, masters of the 3 back here. Oliver Glasner, now Washa, Maxi Lacrosse, any chance to be part of the French national team. The last games in the team of Barcelona. A chair how one mature to that level and Obianim send the game and also a team air code and him. Tarek Michel has always been there to support him. And Omanya, Jaden Canvert from the right side of the 3 back, Daniel Munez, Michel and Craig Richards on the other side. Midfield of Will Hayes and Omanya Jefferson Lima, and so atimi apeke ne form no, and omo Jeremy Pino, Brian Johnson, formerly of Tottenham Hotspur, and then Strand Larsen. Ismail Sarr and so timi join omo in the attacking role for the team, and omo di share Liverpool. Liverpool himself season na nkoyi. The betimi asebu situation no is to make sure they play the top 4 ama bibia etimi akoye. Hugo Ekitike will not be available because of injury no, but he start gradually is warming himself into the setup and Liverpool attack. So ubiem na no more now creating that space in the more there you won't survive against a Liverpool. And general make a Liverpool win in that particular game na Barcelona. Chelsea Wembley. Na Wembley omo bo against Leeds United. Na share two teams na the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Na the last time Leeds United team making it to the final of the FA Cup way back in 1972-1973. About almost 50 plus years ago. And a team ayefeno Leeds United it be called to that particular level. Clearly Omumode Bono in the Premier League under Daniel Farke. So she 2 games of the Chelsea aba. Bako almost Chelsea by 3 goals to 1 and abako omoni Chelsea ball 2-2. You know after the last game so mabo she against Manchester United. She against Bournemouth. Omuko she United at Old Trafford against Bournemouth at the Vitality no be any say game na wie and omo be take no e game no ebe 2-2 until Leeds United remu a omo form ni ye ahead of the game omo ball against Chelsea. Chelsea soon himself omo in a good season and you know she coaches omo change 2 coaches within the season and no the pressure what the Chelsea dressing room and what the fans expect the new trainer to offer in this particular game. Callum McFarlane just an interim manager or this season baby now I show you obetimi aye and you know Owuram hoping say obetimi aye bibi. Cole Palmer is back. Samson João Pedro nso aba back. Omo mienu nyina started training on Thursday. Omo edi room ahead of this particular game. Nti Chelsea fans na omo happy to see Delap leading the line no in the presence of João Pedro. Or you training 2 days, so or you fully fit, he's likely to start. Leeds United team don't see one teamer. You know, almost one master the 3-back plan very, very well. It is our show team now. Omo Pascal Stronik, Omo Jordan Bigel, and Omo Goodmanson on the other side, Omo Bigol on the other side. Midfield of Etienne Ampadu in central midfield, and you know Omo Kanata and so a support. And Obi here Chelsea no be that guy and the hard Chelsea yepa. And Omo no Kafu, Omo Eronson, and then Calvin Lewin up front. Into 3 at the back, defend with 5, and no any acquire team your friend Leeds United Sobo. For Chelsea, Omo 5 games. I lose at the last time we had discussed 114 years in Cedar. By this time a team yes. And said you are not to that. You are talking of a team games no more born in the last few games. Omonya 73 shot, but you know Omon team in far ball and to net. Until Lucas Perry, what ye interview Lucas Perry here, or no goalkeeper. Edinburgh Leeds United, I will say they can do it. They are capable because 2 games of Chelsea abon. Chelsea into me capable of beating Chelsea. Into and no the confidence that players in the free dressing room are ahead of this particular game. Malo Gusto, Cucurella, Fofana, Chaluba as 2 centre backs, Andre Santos, Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Kupama, and then Pedro Neto, na João Pedro LED line. The almost expect midfield may stable. Kupama Benyani free roll, and you know, beating me fire from all angles. Into a game very difficult, especially an experienced manager as against an interim manager. All expect so Benya a new manager bounce. I may be beating me a Kosuye at the Amba Chelsea. A tough one, you know. I may expect the game when the best stretch it to the final minute. But whoever will be taking the chances, can carry the day. And I see Chelsea said, you know, I'm more the chance this time, though. So I'm team Ninkoye. But this isn't Liam Rosinia. This is Callum McFarlane. Now, what's your story in the free Chelsea banner? And Claire Banner say 2 players are a Mark coach, you know, Obo Pamono, Enzo Fernandez, and then Marco Cucurella. 2 Spanish speaking guys, you know, team. Cucurella and Enzo nyina at a point no omni coach in nkasa and said yo this is a game I'm expecting the two guys to step up and show say enema betimi akoye Chelsea coach no na that TV no so no eno omo busa na say e dey na ama Chelsea team ne kofem sa eno say they should respect the opponents at Chelsea in the ball and you feel say and Central 4 are not respecting the team called Brighton. Respected Brighton because Brighton project no why na so aba into no team share Chelsea but rather they shouldn't blame the players and say performance na adepo ama ne man team enkoso yi into general the ball is in a squad and in Pempino say a pam coach say ya every player love to step up and these things are happening with Chelsea baby. Enzo Fernandez e balance as a do okura about 7 to 8 coaches and a team about Chelsea or no more eba be year dwuma nti so about Chelsea you should know that anytime any day they can sack any coach available depending on the results ebeba no coach down on homodia they will sack him. It's general I'm expecting a new manager bounce and I'm expecting the Chelsea team to step up this particular game. Now me do ko Syria anim.
Okay.
Na me de mano esi big game na eba so e o Syria anim. Quality na depe enti se sa match na eba so a onti hu de bebrebe. Besides that, the two teams are not the teams ani enim se eba European footballer. Na omo ye so dominant, na omo ye so integral ewo ye time na ye so close to the Champions League, you know, and then omo ni obiu. Nti nobody talks about Juve, nobody talks about Milan. But in the olden days where the likes of Del Piero, Trezeguet, you know, Cabranelsi, no was a squad, no more the Lapi days, you know. Eddie Basro, the Lilian Thuram, the Fabio Cannavaro, the Gigi Buffon, the Gianluca Zambrotas, Eddie Barbesi, Arturo Vidal, Claudio Marchisio, Paul Pogba, Andri Pirlo, Eddie Barbesi, Carlos Tevez, and Alvaro Morata. Now, who's a Juventus? Any AC Milan is share also because everybody is talking about the Portugal team of a year 2008, the Barbesi, and now. Omantimi amfanye hwea Fernando Santos so but the Portugal of Deco, Rui Costa and then Pauleta na no so ye general a team full of quality for Europe 2000 and Euro 2004 and so Rui Costa more time with Milan Eddie Barbesi the days of Ronaldinho Robinho Shevchenko Moana and Juve AC Milan ba na level no was but you know two teams in the AC Castle no man who they are fem. Inti so mo ba be bon match na they will expect no unhuni bebe. So Fatima Efeni Juba. Away games so my born this season so far as the big teams near concern no ba coupe no matimi awene. Inti my game near tough against Lazio, against Atalanta, against Inter Milan, against Napoli. And ba game near tough for Luciano Spalletti and then Crawford. Allegri started very well. But so it drew baby a game ni moye den no ontimi ma back e o muso omunya a last win e Mark Anthony Bettingodi against Herald Verona e the last league game omo and so itimi boy but big games ni games this is in Milan at Chelsea omo ho den e so and they have the guys up front omo timi step up e do omo ho di chem na omo timi bo game no the likes of Pavlovic omo Fikayo Tomori Estopinan anyhow there but Bastagi is there. Saelemaekers from the right, midfielder. The two French guys, Fofana, you are talking about Rabiot, and you are talking about Luka Modric, the main brain behind the midfield of Team friend AC Milan. And then, you are Christian Pulisic and then Rafael Leao leading the line. Leao is so disappointing. And a lot of people are really concerned say ni new role na Mazi Allegri di amano no ema ye unhu ne performance ni bebrebe but at least goals so bad for him o say or say most of the chances e me no aba beto dwakra say Manchester United person ko fa no de ne ba na o de ne ba be si akan say season no etimi eba area but at least so leave space behind your back line na unya Leao ni Christian Pulisic you'll be in trouble inti 3 back from Milan. And the same thing applies to Juve. Gelson, Bremer, Genoa, Omo Lloyd Kelly, and Omo Hesse, Pierre Kalulu, Subeba Bekaho, now Omo can be answered to the left, midfielder, Omo Lucateri, Omo Weston McKinney, and the Ivorian International Free France by what bit changing the game, no? It is also Consensao from the right, Okay, Jeremy Boga from the left, Kenal Yildiz, and then a lot of guys are meeting me at you so affront because Davis Ewo SIO Abrantia, your friend Vlahovic and so on. A lot of guys are do a bit me at you so no affront. Okay, Milan team now problem 1 year chino. So be free Mark Benan, try the 3 back no, and do no problem for Milan. But the moment a ball no be do central midfield. Now Benja Luka Modric must almost proper control in midfield no. You know, tough to stop them. South na do with him no, full of energy. Or back line is solid. Midfield no run throughout the 90 minutes. And so one fix it with full backs in here. A deadly. Conceição fast. Jeremy Bogan skillful. Kenal Yildiz very quick in transition and very skillful as well. Inti enoni baby Juve, you know, almost and so etimi ewo. Milan playing at home, omunim says so man to me am modern, no man to me I win this particular game. Inter Milan the bet they got 10 points. And sir, let's just say almost crown Inter Milan as so Agi League no etimi and league in team career no. Milan would not love say betimi lose league title no at this time. Abra yemu league ni no baby. Into betimi IBB, but Juve in away games. And so as solidify our backline, any experience hands and in the presence of Gelson Bremer, a boy much in ye, I'm almost so elbow or Mohammed. You know, a game I'm expecting a draw, but to be a double chance for Tima, your friend, AC Milana or more elbow.
Okay. All right.
Now, you're in the Premier League couple weekend where I'm paying bidra. There's the FA Cup. Now, for the FA Cup, I think Manchester City, in the last 5 seasons, who team are appear in the semi-finals of the FA Cup more than them. Southampton are in for a tough task. Yeah. Guardiola episode the domestic treble. The Carabao Cup was the turning point for Manchester City after believing in themselves that this season Kanyoma Diego Enyeyi.
Sure.
But winning the Carabao Cup ignited a certain fire be within them. Said no, they can end the season by winning either the domestic treble or the domestic double. So City real season no aje Carabao Cup, no aje the FA Cup. We might term it as a failure for them due to Mankasa standards of setting in the league.
Yeah.
But yeah, and a couple OBG FA Cup and Carabao Cup no as domestic trophies are. I don't think obe term no as failure den. Sanke school na ke marking schema. O magic Carabao Cup na je FA Cup na ke B+. Meboa.
Yeah.
Omoje league in the canway A+ and ameboa. Champions League in the crowd and the extinction.
Yeah.
It is said to believe he said this is the portrait of things against Southampton or Wembley. I think Southampton will try. Kapu, they've been a very good team on the run. And in the last few games on Mabo, including games on Mabo in the championship, Kapu, are it difficult for opponents to get results against them? They want to be back in the Premier League. Wouldn't you love to see Southampton in the Premier League again? Kapu, Obianya Obengu Southampton will lead. And then Southampton toss a fourth or championship in him. Omukuta 76 points. Points gap between Omo and the Mo. Mewo no toss 2. 4 points.
Okay.
But Mono were a game in hand because Mewo won about 45 games. In the championship, team be about 46 games. It are come 2 games. Almost automatic qualification.
Wow.
And money saw the FA Cup and so they know realistically that winning the FA Cup against Manchester City, it might even do a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah, bad cry.
But coming back into the league should be their priority. But I think City have enough missiles. Kapu. City missiles na no day.
City
missiles. Ryan Sheik, money boys, the born or more bonuses, no missiles na no day. Head to head between both sides. Goalless 1-0 City, 4-1 City, 2-0 Southampton, Manchester City 4-0. In the last 5 encounters, 1 draw, 1 loss, and 3 wins for Manchester City.
Okay.
Difficult. I think City to win this game against Southampton. Itimamao and also the account. Then in the Premier League, Arsenal bebo Newcastle United. Yeah. Wolves bebo Tottenham Hotspur. You see Tottenham Hotspur in Semina Yaya Hunte. West Ham bebo Everton. You see and baby results now Nottingham Forest nya and run me say Nottingham ne de omo ho asiye. Leeds United results no kunya 1 point. Editia Bournemouth no HSO musu jina yesese na me check table ni din a nipa be survive league ni bia hia be 40 points.
Okay.
And sisi an Leeds United ne set mi aka bi
Onyane de no.
Nottingham Forest society mi aka ne de United were 40, there be Nottingham no 39.
Okay.
So Nottingham will lead or get it closer. Wolves score relegation away. So I'm imagining what Tottenham should do in their utmost best to get these results. But sad game will make over 1.5.
Okay.
Make over 1.5. Liverpool Crystal Palace cover 1.5 in that particular game.
Okay.
Arsenal Newcastle United make or break for Arsenal. Baby a season na duru na also share.
Share ko wanim.
Because say a goals and a bit differentiating between the two teams.
Two
goals. But Arsenal are the benefactor of the last 5 games between the two sides. Abraham win 3.
Okay.
Lose 2. Draw and time PO game we mo. The last 5 games, Arsenal 2-1, Arsenal 3-2, Arsenal 1-0, Newcastle 2-0, Newcastle 2-0. Couple. Arsenal would need to be at their best. Newcastle lose their last 4 games.
Okay.
7-2 against Barca. 2-1 against Sunderland. 2-1 against Crystal Palace. 2-1 against Bournemouth. Couple. Difficult. I think this is a game make both teams to score.
Both teams.
But I don't think Arsenal will bottle it again. I'm bottle it baby one because this Newcastle team doesn't look like a Newcastle team we've seen in the Premier League. Yeah. Arsenal will feel. Meaning say Bournemouth akosha Arsenal will feel. Yes, I agree. But I think Arsenal will need to keep up the pace psychologically. These are the games because you see, City were 1 game in hand. They be a score and psychologically put yourself in position. Ebema City. Ekobone outstanding game ni biana ni yembe dey ebesheno because say when timi an sha couple was anyoma 70 City our standing match couple
whoa
so it's important so both teams to score you can choose that option.
Okay.
And as open the easy option kon say Arsenal e betimi win this encounter. West Ham bet na fi atin Everton kakra Everton team no hard but I think West Ham will try and get something to survive. Wolves the enemy come and go so be PM. Watching at Leeds United and Chelsea. My Leeds United over 0.5 go.
0.5.
My Leeds United so be should go at Chelsea. Oh. I don't see how Chelsea will keep a clean sheet against Leeds United. For qualification, I think new manager, these players will feel like they need to give something. They need to give something because BBH said they will need to give something, and I think they will do that.
Okay. Well, but